Hey, hot air balloon enthusiasts! Welcome to our channel, The Great Stories, where we put out mind-bending content for you to binge watch. In this video, we put out 10 amazing places for unforgettable hot air balloon rides. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you won't miss out on any of our mind-bending content. Now that's out of the way, let's begin our journey into the azure skies. Ever wondered what it feels like to have your stomach drop as you float hundreds of feet above the ground with nothing but a wicker basket between you and certain death? Don't worry. Hot air ballooning is actually safer than your morning commute and infinitely more breathtaking. Hey, everyone. Today we're counting down the 10 most mind-blowing places on Earth to experience hot air ballooning. And no, this isn't clickbait. In the next 8 minutes, I'm taking you to places where you can float alongside hundreds of other balloons over otherworldly landscapes. Watch lions hunt from a perspective even National Geographic rarely captures. Drift between ancient temples that have stood for 1,000 years. The best part? While some travel experiences require trust funds and months of planning, most of these balloon adventures can be done in a single morning, giving you the ultimate travel story without derailing your entire trip. Ready for takeoff? Let's float away to our first breathtaking destination. Destination 10, Gorim National Park, Turkey. Gorim National Park is its crown jewel, the heart of this otherworldly landscape where human history and geological wonders intertwine in ways that seem impossible. What makes Gorim truly special is that you're not just flying over the landscape, you're flying through it. Skilled pilots navigate massive balloons between narrow rock formations, sometimes close enough that you could reach out and touch the ancient cave dwellings, though please don't. The problem? Gorim has become so popular that during peak season, over 150 balloons launch daily, sometimes creating aerial traffic jams. The solution? Visit during winter, when snow occasionally dusts the ferry chimneys, creating a truly magical scene with far fewer balloons competing for airspace. Let me tell you the insider secret that elevates the experience. Stay in one of the cave hotels built into the same rock formations you fly over. Waking up inside a mountain and then flying above it creates a connection to the landscape that's impossible to replicate anywhere else on Earth. But if you're looking for something completely different, perhaps the most surreal landscape on Earth, our next destination needs to be on your bucket list. Destination 9, Dubai Desert, UAE. Can you imagine floating over endless golden sand dunes as the first light catches them, creating patterns so perfect they look computer-generated? Now, add the world's tallest building piercing through the morning mist in the distance. Dubai Desert ballooning offers a contrast no other destination can match. Pristine desert that hasn't changed in 10,000 years juxtaposed against one of humanity's most futuristic cities. You might spot camel trains, desert foxes, and luxury camps where sheiks host falcon hunting parties, all while the sci-fi skyline of Dubai looms on the horizon. But there is a problem. Dubai's intense heat means the flying season is limited to October through April, and summer flights are impossible. The benefit? The perfect flying conditions during these months, with consistent gentle winds and visibility that can extend 50 miles on clear mornings. What most visitors don't realize is that the desert balloon companies often employ veteran European and Australian pilots who work the opposite season in their home countries, making them some of the most experienced balloonists on Earth with over 10,000 flight hours each. But if you're craving something more wild and dramatically beautiful, our next destination will make your heart race. Destination 8, Queenstown, New Zealand. What if I told you there's a place where you can float over landscapes so beautiful they literally use them as Middle-earth in the Lord of the Rings movies? Queenstown balloon rides offer the most diverse scenery per minute of any ballooning destination. Crystal clear lakes reflecting snow-capped mountains, rolling countryside dotted with sheep, dense forests, and dramatic canyons, all in a single flight. The challenge? New Zealand's weather is notoriously unpredictable, with rapidly changing conditions that can ground balloons for days. The benefit? When you do fly, the air is so impossibly clear that visibility can extend over 100 miles, and the quality of light creates photographs that look professionally enhanced even on a basic smartphone. The secret most tourists miss is that you book your flight for the first day of your visit, and if it gets canceled due to weather, you can reschedule for later in your trip. Most companies don't advertise this flexibility, but they'll accommodate changes if you ask nicely. But if ancient history makes you yawn and you prefer something more indulgent, our next destination will be right up your alley. Destination 7, Napa Valley, California, USA. What's better than wine tasting in Napa? How about wine tasting after silently drifting over those same vineyards at sunrise, getting the literal bird's eye view of America's most famous wine region? Napa ballooning combines two of life's great pleasures: peaceful aerial adventure and guilt-free morning drinking. As you float over precisely manicured vineyards, you'll see the agricultural artistry that goes into creating those $100 bottles, with different grape varieties creating a mesmerizing patchwork of greens and golds. The problem with visiting Napa normally? Traffic jams, packed tasting rooms, and expensive tour buses. The balloon advantage? Most flights include champagne brunches at wineries that aren't open to the public, letting you skip the crowds and sip alongside the actual winemakers. The insider hack is to visit during harvest season, August to October, when the valley is buzzing with activity and you can watch the picking crews from above. Plus, the changing leaf colors create a spectacular backdrop that rivals New England's famous foliage. Destination 6, Luxor, Egypt. Did you know you can watch the sun rise over the same temples that dazzled Cleopatra and Caesar, seeing them exactly as the ancient gods were meant to view them, from above? Balloons over Luxor offer a view of human history that archaeologists would kill for. As you drift above the Valley of the Kings, the Temple of Hatshepsut, and the mighty Nile cutting through the desert, you'll see alignments and patterns invisible from the ground. Egypt's desert heat means flights launch painfully early, sometimes requiring 3:30 a.m. wake-up calls. You'll witness one of the most spectacular sunrises on Earth as it illuminates monuments that have stood for over 3,500 years, revealing their golden tones one by one as the shadows retreat. What the travel guides don't tell you is that the best views aren't actually of the famous sites themselves, but of the contrast between the lush green Nile Valley and the stark desert beyond, a living map that explains why Egyptian civilization flourished in this otherwise inhospitable region. Destination 5, Capri Valley, Alaska, USA. Ever wondered what it would feel like to float above glaciers that have been crawling through mountains since before humans existed? How about doing it while watching moose and bears wander below, completely unaware they're being observed? Alaska's Capri Valley offers balloon rides that make you feel like you've entered a Planet Earth documentary. Unlike the crowded European ballooning spots, here you might be the only balloon in the sky, creating an almost eerie silence broken only by the occasional roar of your burner. The challenge is that Alaska's notoriously fickle weather means flights get canceled about 40% of the time. But that's also the benefit. When you do fly, conditions are absolutely perfect, and you'll witness a wilderness so pristine it makes you question whether humans should even be there. The secret most visitors miss is that late May flights give you nearly 20 hours of daylight and the perfect combination of snow-capped peaks, with valleys bursting with spring wildflowers, plus better rates than the peak summer season. Speaking of spectacles involving hundreds of balloons, wait until you see what our next destination offers. Destination 4, Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA. What happens when you put 600 hot air balloons, including ones shaped like Darth Vader, Yoda, and SpongeBob, in the same place and launch them simultaneously? The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta isn't just a balloon ride. It's the Super Bowl of ballooning. Every October, this massive aerial party creates a sensory explosion of colors, shapes, and the distinctive whoosh of hundreds of burners firing at once. The downside? Getting a ride during the actual festival requires booking a year in advance and costs triple the normal rate. The clever hack? Visit the week before or after. Same perfect weather conditions, same views, fraction of the price, and you'll still see plenty of practice flights. What makes Albuquerque truly magical is a weird weather phenomenon called the Albuquerque Box, a high-low wind pattern that lets balloons essentially make a giant circle by changing altitude. Nowhere else on Earth can balloons navigate with such precision, creating aerial choreography that looks planned, but is actually just perfect natural conditions. But if you prefer dramatic natural landscapes over balloon festivals, our next destination offers something truly majestic. Destination 3. Bagan, Myanmar. Did you know there's a place with over 2,000 ancient temples scattered across a misty plain, where the spires glow gold and red as the first light hits them each morning? Bagan is essentially the world's largest open-air museum, and the only way to truly appreciate it is from above. These Buddhist temples date back to the 11th century, and floating between them at the same height as their ornate spires creates a spiritual experience that even the most cynical travelers describe as life-changing. The challenge with exploring Bagan traditionally? Extreme temple fatigue. They start blending together after the 5th or 6th one. But from a balloon, you see the master plan, how they align astronomically, and how the morning light transforms them from shadowy silhouettes to glowing red-gold structures. Pro tip that travel influencers won't share: book the smaller 8-person balloons instead of the larger 16-person ones. They cost about 20% more, but fly lower and maneuver between temples rather than just over them. Destination 2. Serengeti National Park, Tanzania. Imagine being dragged out of bed at 4 a.m., only to find yourself an hour later silently drifting above the greatest wildlife show on Earth, watching lions stalk their prey while herds of zebra create living patterns across the golden Savannah. Serengeti balloon safaris aren't just rides. They're front-row seats to nature's most dramatic theater. As dawn breaks, you'll spot elephant herds protecting their young, massive wildebeest migrations, and yes, predators on the hunt, all from a perspective that even wildlife photographers rarely capture. The problem with traditional safari vehicles? They're noisy, limited to roads, and frankly, the animals definitely know you're there. But a balloon? You're just a silent shadow passing overhead while nature unfolds authentically below. The unexpected bonus? After landing, most companies serve a full champagne breakfast in the bush, white tablecloths, bubbly, and gourmet food while zebras graze nearby. Just keep an eye on your mimosa. The local monkeys have developed a surprising taste for alcohol. But if witnessing wildlife isn't your priority and you're more interested in ancient human achievements, our next destination will leave you speechless. Destination 1. Cappadocia, Turkey. What if I told you there's a place where the landscape looks like it was designed by aliens, where hundreds of colorful balloons fill the sky every morning like some kind of psychedelic dream? Welcome to Cappadocia, the undisputed world capital of hot air ballooning. Those bizarre cone-shaped rocks below, they're called fairy chimneys, and early Christians actually carved entire underground cities inside them to hide from Roman persecution. The problem with exploring Cappadocia from the ground? You completely miss the scale and patterns of this surreal landscape. But from above, you'll see the ancient cave dwellings, hidden valleys, and bizarre rock formations that make this region look like another planet entirely. Here's the insider secret most guides won't tell you. While everyone books sunrise flights, which are spectacular, afternoon rides have fewer crowds and equally magical lighting. Plus, the pilots are often more relaxed after their early morning rush. So there you have it, 10 extraordinary places where hot air ballooning transforms from simple transportation to life-changing experience. From ancient wonders to wildlife spectacles, from surreal landscapes to vibrant festivals. These destinations prove that sometimes the journey really is the destination. The beautiful thing about balloon adventures? They combine peaceful tranquility with heart-racing excitement, luxury with adventure. They're the perfect middle ground for travelers who can't decide between relaxation and adrenaline. You genuinely get both. Before you rush to book, remember this universal ballooning truth. Mother Nature always has the final say. Build flexibility into your travel plans, as flights can be canceled for weather. But that's part of what makes it special. When conditions are perfect and you finally lift off, you've truly earned that magical experience. Which of these destinations caught your imagination? Let me know in the comments. And if you've already experienced any of these magical flights, share your stories. I'd love to hear about your adventures above the world. Until next time, keep looking up. Adventure is waiting just a few thousand feet above the ground.